Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS Zone Live. We have Lower Decks episode 3 review. I'm just waiting on Lee. I can see 5 of you are watching already. Do us a favor, give the stream a like, please share it as well. And it's nice of you to join us. This is the first of 2 live streams. We go live later on tonight with a panel, hopefully, and we will be discussing the Netflix controversy. We'll also be talking the HBO Max comedy, abortion comedy, I should say, Unpregnant. We'll be tapping into that as well. And we'll be generally just talking about how disgusting Hollywood has been over the years. So that'll be something for you to sink your teeth into. I better just text Lee and let him know that I've sent him the email, just to let him know that we've started. Hold on. Right. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, folks. We're just gonna, Lee should be here now any second. This is obviously we do short review. We're not going to, we don't. It's normally a 25-minute to 30-minute stream, and then we take a half an hour break, and then we'll be back. We'll be back doing getting ready for the next stream. Right. Well, I might as well briefly talk about the episode before Lee gets here. This episode wasn't as bad as the first two, but that's still saying a lot. It was toned down a little bit. The character that annoys us all kind of toned it down a little bit, but there was still that, it was still annoying. I didn't really enjoy it, to be quite honest with you. And it hasn't been a good series, but this is the better episode out of the three that have dropped. So as I said, it's not saying much, but still, there's an improvement there. It might be a slight improvement, but there is an improvement there. So we'll just have to see what happens in the next few weeks. But to be quite honest with you, as I said, this isn't resembling Star Trek at all. Again, they seem to have a habit in name dropping. Right at the end of this episode, they name dropped Chief O'Brien. They just have this habit of, Kirk's name was dropped again. It's just, they're trying so desperately hard to make the connection, and it shows. It's not subtle at all. And while again, as I said, this wasn't the worst episode out of the three that they've shown, it's still way off of what it should be. I just don't. I'm watching the original series right now, and it's just far off that. But again, it's the name dropping. They just have to try make that connection, and it annoys me. You know, we'll bring Lee on anyway. He's here with us, so we'll just bring him straight on because, as I said, we're only going to be we're only going to be going for about 20 minutes, half an hour, because I have to get ready from the other stream at 7, where we're going to be talking Netflix, as I said, the controversy behind Netflix. We're going to be actually talking about HBO Max's, as I said, abortion comedy, Unpregnant. And we'll have other topics to talk about as well. So join us for the TARDIS Zone talks. I'll be here, and hopefully we'll have some guests as well. Let's bring Lee on and let's get this review done of Lower Decks. I don't have my reaction done yet, but I will throw it up later on tonight if anybody is actually interested. So let's bring Lee on.
Hello.
How are you?
Right.
Let's just get straight into it anyway, because I know you've got the.
I've triple booked actually. I'm not just double booked. I'm fucking triple booked.
Yeah, well, listen, I won't give out to you, but you know that you do the reviews with me on a Friday.
Yeah, I know, but I thought this was this is earlier. So I thought, well, she's going to be on after. So I thought that's fine. So I think that it's okay. It's worked out fine.
Right.
So.
Well, it's fine. Yeah, it's worked out.
Good.
So, yeah.
It's all good.
Right. Let's get in. Let's get into it straight away. What were your thoughts, overriding thoughts of this episode this week?
Well,
what I said at the start, but I did say that this is an improvement on the last 2 episodes, but that is still saying.
No, it's not saying much.
Go on anyway, Lee.
I kind of felt the same way. It was I didn't have much in the way of high expectations, let's be honest. But I mean, there were a couple of surprises in this which did subvert my expectations, in which Boimler, I think that's his name now, isn't it?
Boimler,
yeah, managed to end up in the situation where he actually was flourishing in this episode. He was in his element, everyone else was losing their shit. I mean, the story is like there's this thing where they have what do you call it? Like they're slacking. They got a slack.
But then they get screwed over, and they've been told that they're going to be delivering gifts instead. Yeah. And they go to this planet, and the commander is he's the typical
macho
man, but he's so funny, right? Yeah. But they land on this planet, and then they reveal the gift, and it ends up being a plank of wood. And apparently, that plank of wood is offensive to the people that they're actually supposed to be presenting this crystal to. But it turns out it's a plank of wood, and then all hell breaks loose and stuff.
The reason why they did that is because there was a mix-up, because they had this culture on this ship. The reason why the ship is like one of the lowest regarded in the fleet is because they're all slacking. They've got this thing where it's like they add on extra time to get things done, and then when they ask when can you get something done, they add on time to say, well, I can get it done by then, and people expect that's good actually. But it's not.
The trait that Scotty had in the original series as well, though, especially in the movies as well. He'd always give longer estimates because because they even mention it the line in there, because it makes you feel like, because when you complete it, then you're a hero sort of thing.
That was quite good. But I mean, it kind of because then the captain finds out back, because Boimler has to tell her what's happened, obviously. Because he's a snitch, because that's where they've written him.
Well, he didn't mean to. But,
but he was kind of forced into it in the lift, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Then the captain puts everyone on these really strict time limits, including herself. No one can handle it.
It actually starts falling apart, believe it or not.
It falls apart. But Boimler is like ahead of schedule, in his absolute element. So I felt really, man, he's doing good. But of course, we had that Bennett Marino, whatever her name is.
Listen,
like,
she wasn't as bad. She wasn't as bad this week. I have
she
to.
She was put in her place,
right? She was actually put in her place this week, which was absolutely fantastic. Oh, I love when the commander, when she's giving the speech, and the commander says, "You know, you're right," and he stabs her in the foot.
Stabs her in the foot. Yeah. So basically, they get thrown into a cell because these aliens are offended. So they go off and invade the ship somehow. They've got spaceships, but they got spears. Go figure. So all chaos is breaking loose, and the head of this alien race sends in their champion to, that they have to fight, and they're sort of Bennett Marino is like, oh, I'm going to fight him, and like the captain, well, not captain guy, the second in command, number one, I guess. He's like, no, I'm going to do. I'm in charge, and she's just like, I mean, it's amazing. Like, she hasn't been completely court-martialed a billion times because she's so anti-authority.
She starts bragging about her scars and how she earned every single scar. Listen, she's
bestest still ever, and she kicks their ass as well.
Yeah,
she's the first to leap into
problematic character. But what I did like this week is that she did kind of get a little bit of a comeuppance, and even in the sick bay, that scene at the end was bleeding hilarious.
And she got turned on by him.
Yeah, and then him
fighting.
Right at the end were hurt. So something's going to happen between those two anyway. That's definitely going to happen in that. But listen, this one, I have to be honest, even the start, the opening credits, this felt slightly a little bit better, the opening credits. It felt like for a split second, okay, they 2 episodes in, bit all over the place. Maybe they finally got it right, because there seemed to be this tone from the beginning that when they were going to this treaty and then they got screwed over, I thought, it started off well. I thought, actually, we might get an interesting episode. And you know what? Within all the madness that was going on, there was an interesting kind of forced contact kind of thing going on. But obviously in this show, they just can't get it right. But there were a few moments in this. That's what I'm saying. I'm not by any means saying that this is that. Listen, it doesn't deserve the name. If this was a generic show, it still
not Star Trek. I mean,
I'll tell you why. The jokes in it are not. They think they're funny, right? And they're not. And that's the problem I have, right? The jokes that they put in the show, they either fall flat or they just don't hit that moment that they're supposed to hit.
Well, they use the jokes to denigrate Star Trek. Yeah. They don't use jokes because, this is a Star Trek type thing. They make it jokes at the expense of Starfleet, at the expense of Star Trek.
Yeah.
And if they just swerve that around, I mean, it just takes a bit more thought and a bit more cleverness.
Yeah.
Just to think, well, hold on. Rather than mocking Starfleet and Star Trek, they should be making jokes that fit within that universe rather than just trying to subvert it.
Well, I don't think it'd work, and I think Gene Roddenberry knew that, because apparently he didn't like, even in the movies when he was still around, he didn't like the kind of jokes that they were inserting in the movies.
No, when he came back
in the show either. I mean,
when he came back for the original series, I think it was series 3, and or was it series 2? I can't remember. But there were jokes being put in, and he came back and he was absolutely livid. What's with all this stupid humor? It's a serious show. It's got serious things that it's dealing with.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what they're doing is they're kind of making a mockery out of its earnestness, I think, really, but not in a particularly creative way. And it's I think if you took her out of it, the main character, if you took her out of it, it would be so much better.
And our mother, I'm sorry, but the captain is even annoying.
Yeah, well, she's like.
But I can understand that. Like, don't get me wrong, she's not as annoying as the daughter, right? And
oh God, no one is.
Right, but still, okay, fair enough. It's about Lower Decks, and we're not really supposed to see the captain that much. I get it, but even when we do see her, she's just so annoying. Like the scene where what's his name, Bumler, wherever you call, I don't know his name. whatever his name is, I don't give a crap. You see, that's not Borden, whatever his name is. Right? When he goes up onto the bridge and the captain's running around like bleeding fucking Speedy Gonzalez, fucking on all the computers, trying to keep in schedule. I was just like, and then he's trying to explain when I force you out listen, and I'm like, he's actually talking sense here. And then then the fella that's beating these because they end up on the ship, by the way. So the people that they insult end up invading the ship, right? So the security officer that's on the bridge is basically beating these all back into the turbo lift, right? And then he says to your man, if you're gonna say something inspiring to the captain, now's the time, or something like that. That was funny. That moment right there, that was the joke, right? And that worked, right? When it wasn't like trying, you know what I mean, as you were saying, trying to belittle it. That moment it worked, and then he does, and then the captain actually acknowledged it. But then, see, this is what I don't like about this show. So he does something good, right? And because he's the one that says buffer time or whatever it is, right? They name this new rule after him, and then everybody on the ship is saying, "Oh, listen, nobody will ever remember it." And then years into the future, they're talking about him being the laziest and most,
I know, and it's just so disheartening.
And then I was like, why? Why do that?
They had to destroy him in some, because he got away with too much. I mean, there he was being competent. He took on the invaders with a phaser. He was in charge of the situation, and that wasn't allowed. So I mean, it's like, well, what's the point of his character now? Because we know how it ends up. We know that when millions of years, like 100 years or so in the future, when he's long gone, he'll only be remembered for that one thing. So there's like nothing left for his character.
But here's the worst part: when you think they couldn't get any lower, right? Then he says, "But here's a brilliant man," right? Okay, fair enough. He's
I really thought it was going to be Bennett Marino.
Chief O'Brien. So they dropped Kirk's name during this as well. And
lots of name dropping. More name dropping than I do.
This is the one thing I have a problem with. Listen, you don't have to be desperate to try and make that connection to the classic series or next gen. Nobody is making any sort of connection with this show. So stop with the name dropping. It doesn't help. This is supposed to be a different entity. You're supposed to be entertaining us, right? I laughed once in this episode. And I think, Lee, that has been a trait during this whole Lower Deck so far. I think there has been one laugh out loud moment in each episode. But
no, not in my case. I mean, like the first episode, not one. The second one, it was more like a kind of thing. So I was engaging with one of the characters in a specific moment, like when he was doing the
cyborg guy.
Fella.
That was a good scene last week. See,
and this time,
there's at least one good scene in each episode so far.
Yeah, and this time it was with Boimler kind of being in his element, which was, I felt good. And the other was Bennett being put in her place by the
See, that gave me satisfaction, but that shouldn't give me satisfaction. See the type of thing
when she got put into the brig as well,
in our place. But that's not what we want. But because she's acted the way she has acted in 3 episodes so far, it's what she deserves.
Well, again, like every story so far, so 3 episodes in, whenever she comes into her element and puts everything right, it's because she got everyone in the wrong in the first place.
Yeah,
she's the one who's instigated all the problems.
Yeah.
And then she comes in and fixes everything. Well, not this time, at least, but...
well, she tried to. She tried to say that whole cavalier attitude of breaking rules was the way to go and stuff. But if you kind of think about at the end of the episode, they guaranteed that obviously they made we'll call him B, they made poor B the butt of the joke right at the end by saying he was the laziest officer. But Ivanich, our woman, she's the one that's is the opposite to him. He is everything Starfleet is, and she's opposite to everything that Starfleet
I think if you took her out of the equation, if you took her character out of this, it would be so much better.
It
like
would.
Boimler could still fail,
Yeah.
but it could be about his journey into becoming a better,
Exactly, a better officer,
officer,
better cadet, and
without her
being
being
grow and
behind
get
everything.
promoted. You know, that's the way they could have went. They could have went that way. But you see, here's the thing, Lee. You can't have a young man like his character doing well and not being knocked down by a woman nowadays. This is the type of thing that they do. And this is not the way it should be. You could still have a woman, you know, on the show, coming up through the ranks with him, but you don't have to make
the butt of the joke all the time.
Yeah, you don't have to make him the butt of the joke, or even make her the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? If you're going to do it and balance it out at least, but there is no balance. It's always a one-way street with these shows. You know what? I came into this thinking that this was going to be an absolute crap show, and so far I haven't been disappointed. I really haven't. And it's sad because I've been watching, as I said, as you all know, I've been binge watching the original series the last couple of nights. And I'll tell you something, I forgot how absolutely wonderful that show actually was.
Yeah, it's my favorite. It's my favorite Star Trek. It can't be bettered. It can't be beaten.
I have to be honest with you, Lee. You know, I grew up obviously with Next Gen, and I would have said 3 weeks ago, even, that Next Gen was slightly better, right? Just because I obviously grew up with it, so I was more, you know.
Yeah, I'm about 5 years old.
I'm being honest. I'm only I think I'm coming to the end of season 1, or I'm at the start of season 2. I'm not 100% sure, but I can tell you it's miles apart. It's miles apart. Listen.
Yeah, I mean the charm and
the original series.
So much going on. You know, there's it's so much. It's very intelligent. I'm not dismissing Star Trek Next Generation. I personally found it a bit too soapy, like a bit too soap opera-y rather than space opera-y, and people standing around in rooms talking. You know, whereas Star Trek, things are happening, you know, they're doing stuff, and they've got some really great writing in there, and the characters are just so strong, so strong, and you know, it's not over convoluted with the number of characters. I think Next Gen is a bit too much. You've got too many characters. I think Star Trek is the original series is the right number of focal point characters, and I think that works much better. And Star Trek Next Gen kind of bored me a lot. Whereas like Star Trek original series never did.
Is boring. Second season is an improvement, but I think Next Gen finds its legs by season 3, and then it kind of kicks on from there, Lee. But we do have a comment on the screen. They should have just taken the plot of some of the novels and retrofitted them so they would work with a new crew. Also, we're getting a 3D animated Star Trek Nicktoon.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? We're getting a 3. You mean?
Yeah, they're going to do a Nickelodeon
thing. That's a way. Why?
Yeah, it's called. What's it called?
But this Lower Decks is not working. Have they? It's not working because the
Prodigy
people that are obviously writing this haven't got a clue. There is no love for Star Trek to these people. You heard Kurtzman. He said they're going to use it as a platform to put across their agendas. Now, is there much of an agenda in this? Yes, there clearly is a feminist agenda running through this. Is there any more other agendas running through it?
I haven't noticed any so far, other than
that's the thing. There hasn't really been that. Lee is spot on. Actually, the only thing that I can think of is the whole feminist thing with this. Whatever her name is. See, we don't even know their names because it's that.
I mean, it's too current day. It's not set in the future. This is the thing. They've taken Star Trek, which is set in the future, in the 23rd, 24th century.
Politics and today's ideology.
It gets very tired, very dated, very quickly. And it's not
work. It doesn't work. You need to be thinking in future terms, Alex Kurtzman. That's what you need to be doing. Listen, no doubt you're probably a great writer, and maybe there is a great writer in there somewhere, but you need to understand the stuff that you're writing, and clearly these people right now have produced 3 shows now: Discovery, Picard, and now this Lower Decks.
Mm.
And every single one of them, in my opinion, have been rubbish. I'm sorry, some of you might like Discovery, some of you might like Picard, some of you might even like Lower Decks. That's fine, you can like it. But if you're looking at the standard of what's come before, it reaches nowhere near. So therefore, it's not good enough. And if you see the way it's written as well, and you see the type of politics and agenda they're trying to insert into it, ideology, whatever it is, you will see it doesn't suit this franchise. I'm sorry, it doesn't. It's like Doctor Who and all those other franchises. They just can't be inserting these types of things into these shows and movies. It just doesn't work. Now, Lee, we've got 4 minutes left, but I'll tell you what, because I know you've got to go off and do another stream. I've got to get set up for
sorry about that. I'm just like,
and I've got to get the dinner done as well. So I've got about a half an hour to get the dinner ready. But I'll just get your rating for this week's episode. I forget what I gave it last week. Did I give it?
I think I gave it 2.5, and I think I gave it 1 previously.
Right. Did I give it a 0 last week?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Well, I'm actually going to be generous this week, and I'm going to give it 2.5.
There you go.
All because the story was a slight improvement. There was a story there. There is a story there. It is overshadowed by Miss Know-It-All, but you know, as Lee said, if she's taken out the equation and it focused on certain characters, especially the main male but the joke character that they have in this show, if they focused more on him, as Lee said, going up through the ranks and stuff.
If it wasn't for her being there purely as a foil to keep fucking him over, his character over, making him the butt of every joke, you could still have him as a loser.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. But making it so that she's better than him in every way and that she's responsible for everything.
He says it multiple times in the show, though. I'm brilliant at this, and I'm brilliant at that.
It's like, if you keep having to tell us that you're not, you know.
When are they going to learn? We don't like these type of female characters. You can have a strong female character, but you don't have to have her at the expense of getting.
Why are they always obnoxious?
Or belittling a man, or to saying that a man is this, that, and the other, or that a man's toxic.
Picard, they made from what I saw, they made all the women in charge absolutely obnoxious. And very masculine. I mean, is that really feminism when you make all the women so incredibly masculine and obnoxious?
No, it's not.
Really? Is that what feminism is? I mean, can someone tell me? Because I don't see it. I don't see it.
I've just lost all the will to watch any further, but we're going to keep doing it.
I mean, if they go in this trajectory where they start putting her in her place, and Boimler might get some,
and he starts to grow, yes, but he starts to grow too because he seems to be stagnating just like the rest of them.
We know what happens. We know that he's only ever going to be remembered for this new rule, you know, being the worst and laziest. And it's just like, how can he move forward, progress?
Well, the only hope that we have is the end up in time. He ends up changing it somehow, you know. But they won't think they're not. I don't think they're that clever.
I don't think they're thinking.
To be honest, what rating did you give it? Sorry, I forgot.
I didn't give it. I'll give it a 3.5 because it was definitely an improvement. And there was a couple of moments in there I got engaged with it.
Yeah.
But again, it's really not Star Trek. You know, if you remove that aspect or try to remove it, which is difficult because they keep name dropping everything. But if you try and remove that and look at it purely as a piece of cartoon entertainment and not take it too seriously, it's still not laugh out loud funny for me. It's still not making me. It's not that entertaining. You do end up looking at your phone. I mean, if they could just make the jokes funny and not at the expense of Star Trek, but rather at the expense of each other for whatever situation they find themselves in, all the better for it. You know, if you're going to use humor with Star Trek, then you need to have a bit more reverence for it rather than just trying to demolish it, really.
Yeah. Right, listen, Lee, I will let you go because I know you've got to get ready for another stream. Listen, thanks for coming on, and if you ever triple up again, I'll have to sack you.
No
You know what I mean? You have to keep on top of this thing. I'm only messing. Listen, mate, I'm the same as you when it comes to these different time bleeding zones. I'm getting
it's a nightmare. I'm just dyscalculic.
I myself last week, so it does happen, but don't let it happen again, mate, because you know we can't get money messing. We can't be having that crap now, money messing. Listen, it does happen. Central time, Eastern time, bleeding, whatever time, blah, blah. It does me head in. But listen, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. And do go over to Wolf and the Storms channel. They're going to be talking. But I am back here, obviously, at 7. I might leave it till 7:15. And then we'll do our stream. We've got plenty to talk about tonight, guys. So come and join us. Lee, it's been a pleasure. We'll see you over the weekend anyway.
Look forward to it. Yeah.
Can't get rid of you, to be honest with you. Did you get the movie, by the way?
I believe so. Let me just check.
He sent it to me. So listen, he comes on pretty. So it's already there. So all you have to do is, just in case you don't.
No, I haven't got it actually. No, you sent me the link for.
Well, just send them a text. Just send them a text because what you call it. The problem I find is if I try share it with someone, I can't because it's his drive. So he has to share it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Listen, thanks for coming on. And listen, guys, I am streaming on Tuesday night with Comics Division. It's a late night stream. So these are all up and about. Come and join us. It's 11. I think it's 11 p.m. my time. So that'll be Tuesday night with Comic Division. And I did stream with Bounding Into Comics the other night as well. So go and check out their channel because we were streaming. We had a very interesting conversation with the panel. And I hope to bring on some of the guests that were on that panel. They have actually all followed me on Twitter. So I will be organizing to bring them on. So we're going to have different, as I said, the channel is kind of moving away from the whole, madness. And we're going to still continue to do the classic and new Who watch-alongs as we do. But we're going to be doing more things like this, Lower Decks and other shows. And, we
still got to get our Father Ted thing on as well.
And Father Ted with Father Miller, we're going to do that definitely next week. I'm going to organise with Father Miller now and see what days available, and then I'll let you know when that's happening as well, actually, because we do. And Lee will be there with us as well for that.
Yeah.
So we'll be Father Miller, Lee, and hopefully it's on a day that Rabbi can come on and we get Rabbi on.
That'd be excellent. That'd be so good.
Right, listen. I will talk to you very soon. Lee will talk to you very soon on the Wolf and the Storms channel. It's a Friday night. Remember, Friday night Tights is on later on tonight as well. So you have plenty of options before Friday night Tights. Come and join me or go and join Wolf and the Storm or whoever else is on tonight. But there is plenty of options for you all. Thanks for watching. Lee, thanks for coming on. And I will leave you with the outro now. There you go. See you later. Have a good one. Enjoy the weekend. I will see you soon.